Have you seen these idiots behind the wheel? What on earth are these people doing, and who gave them licenses anyway? I'll show you the craziest compilation when you want to cry through laughter at human madness. Just make sure not to encounter them yourself. Let's go! This guy apparently decided to try out a motorcycle for the first time, opting to skip the instructor and training ground. And rightly so. If anything, the neighbor's car will help to brake. And this is what happens when you worry too much about your wife, constantly looking back. Back! That's enough! Rely on a friend, but don't mess up yourself. And this driver tried to make a left turn carefully, quite timidly, but for some reason decided to rush through at the last moment without ensuring the safety of the maneuver. And for what? What will a truck driver do when he sees a suspiciously low bridge ahead? Correct, hit the gas and swerve the body to make sure to get through. What to do if a car with a lamppost on the windshield is coming at you? At the very least, beware of it. One can only guess where he snagged his trophy. Here's a clear example of why you shouldn't pull out onto the road without ensuring the safety of your maneuver. Luckily, everyone stayed alive. Do you think only cars can crash through a barrier? You're greatly mistaken. Just look at this tough cyclist. The taxi driver was also surprised why he just didn't drive past. How to quickly navigate a roundabout? Straight ahead. It's unclear why the driver didn't even attempt to avoid the collision. What's the first thing to do after buying a powerful convertible? Showing off, thought this driver and started swerving his car backwards. He certainly surprised the bystanders, though not with his driving skills. Handbrake. And this is a clear example of why you should always engage the handbrake even if you're just going something out or loading up. It's funny that the driver even apologizes to the oncoming traffic instead of pulling the handbrake. Never block the yard with cars, otherwise the garbage truck has to take radical action. When a guy promised to pick you up after work, but slightly overdid it. A friend will never leave you in trouble, it's just important to ask them to act carefully. Otherwise, there might only be more problems. Sideways. Here's another fan of leaving the intersection sideways. As often happens, he attracted attention and people had a good laugh. Something similar happened with these guys who wanted to show off among low-rise buildings, and their sunglasses almost flew off. What to do if a truck stalls in the middle of a railroad crossing? Well, nothing fortunately. The cargo and the car are insured. Stand and enjoy the spectacle. And this elderly woman in a Ford accidentally confused the pedals at the intersection, but that's not the funniest part. When she got out to apologize, for some reason she shifted the gearbox into drive. As a result, everyone got a share of the action. This video can be described as, see the goal, don't see the obstacles. It's interesting, what didn't bother the driver? The driver of the white foreign car was in too much of a hurry to pay attention to signs, guardrails, and other cars. A real idiot who injured several people because of his inadequate driving. The driver of the silver foreign car decided to try himself as a teacher, first cutting off the truck and then starting to brake sharply. The truck didn't get the joke and rear-ended the foreign car several times. Who's the bigger idiot here is debatable, but at least you understand the truck driver. And how can you not show off when you're pulling into a van? It's the perfect place to go sideways. Have you heard that you should hurry when passing through a barrier? That's true, but you shouldn't try to do it right after another car. Stupidity or greed, it's unclear what played out in this case. What could be more brilliant than parking a truck on a slope and leaving it unattended without blocking the wheels? Luckily, the drivers on the road managed to react and brake, letting the uncontrollable truck pass. And this video once again reminds us that driving off a loader should be done carefully and slowly. One of the guys couldn't handle it, and the car that came from the repair shop had to go back. This is why you should look around when getting out of the car, although the situation is arguable, since the motorcyclist was essentially riding where he shouldn't have been. How do you like these drifts? The speeds may be low, but how spectacular. And this video looks like an advertisement for armored glass. An inadequate driver bangs on the window with everything he can grab. At some point, even a boomerang comes into play. It's amazing how the glass withstands such pressure, giving in only at the very end. And this man didn't just stand in the middle of the pedestrian crossing, but also decided to entertain the honking truck driver in an unusual way. It must be said honestly, the dance turned out very lively. And this truck driver apparently got annoyed that the driver of the dark SUV was driving too slowly in the lane. And he decided to declare a real hunt, sandwiching the poor car from both sides, almost causing a serious accident. Isn't he an idiot? This motorcyclist decided to squeeze between an excavator and a car, but slightly overestimated his abilities. It's a good thing his reaction didn't fail him, and he managed to jump off his iron horse. The driver didn't check his tires at the tire shop, and as a result of a sharp maneuver, one of them decided to leave the car. Fortunately, no one was hurt, except for the car, of course. And this is what happens when a driver parks without thinking about others. And it's not just some punishment, but a real ambulance can't get to a dying person, so it's forced to act urgently. Think not only about yourself. Have you ever seen such a combination? Horses, gypsies, and a trampoline? What else do you need for fun on the road? What can you transport in a regular sedan? These guys decided to save on transportation costs and put a refrigerator in the passenger compartment. Okay, they didn't plan it out, but I have one question. How are they planning to steer? Here, the driver managed to capture an unusual operation of the Special Forces. A persistent traffic violator was disarmed immediately, clear and coordinated work. The driver of the silver car apparently got distracted at the traffic light and rammed his neighbor, but then he collected himself, made a U-turn, and tactfully left the scene. Ever heard of the phrase, crazy stool? The girl behind the wheel of this smart thought to squeeze every drop out of her little car, but why do it in a parking lot? As a result, she couldn't handle it. And the driver of this truck apparently thought something got under his wheel as he wasn't bothered by some obstacle while reversing. Do you think only idiots forget to take their gun out of the gas tank? What do you say about these cops? What to do when you don't want to lug a heavy shopping cart through the store? Right, drive into the store immediately by car. You don't even have to unload anything, just grab the products from the window and go. Seemingly a parking lot, asphalt everywhere and beauty, but this girl managed to find an obstacle even in such ideal conditions. Some don't need potholes or snow to get stuck. And here's another genius of cargo transportation in a sedan. When you spent your last memory on a plasma TV, but still need to get it home. What to do if you missed the exit you needed? Right, be able to make decisions quickly, like the driver of this Cadillac who decided to take the exit straight, but the wheel didn't approve of this decision. And this is apparently a new way to rinse your car effective. You can't say otherwise. The SUV driver imagined himself as Ken Block, but couldn't handle the control and ended up hooking several cars in the process. Where was he in such a hurry? History remains silent. And these are scenes from shooting a new part of the Taxi movie, no less, though the driver slightly misjudged his abilities and the grip on the road. We have seen many times how a truck doesn't fit under a bridge, but here it gets even more interesting. This truck decided to drive under the signs with its body raised. How can you not notice that? It's a rhetorical question. Have you seen maritime accidents? There are idiots behind the wheels there too. Apparently the boat driver got seasick as he rammed a boat at full speed, and fortunately no one was hurt. This is an illustration of the Russian saying, if the barn is burned, let it burn along with the house. The driver misjudged the dimensions of his trailer. It happens to everyone, but the maneuver must be completed regardless of the cost. And this is what happens to those who stick their nose where it doesn't belong. It's not worth cutting off a truck while it's in motion, as it can quickly react to such maneuvers. And by braking suddenly, you can damage the cargo. You understand what the driver's priorities are. Another crazy stool that miraculously didn't run over a person on the pedestrian crossing and then simply couldn't handle the control? What was in the driver's mind and where was he going? Unknown. And this driver apparently decided to compete with the locomotive. He slightly overestimated his chances, and the question remains, why didn't he decide to move away when they started honking from a distance? Don't even ask how this car ended up here. Apparently, the navigator suggested a route 10 times shorter. Playing with a kitten is scared, but not at the cost of your windshield. Everyone knows that the Rubicon has incredible off-road capabilities, and this man decided to demonstrate it vividly. A huge obstacle? A small car. What could possibly go wrong? You would think that as someone who retrieves cars after accidents, you would learn from others' mistakes, but apparently, some people are unteachable. And this is what happens when two idiots meet. A real struggle, emotions, and a spectacle. The main thing is that they don't catch anyone else. What to do if a pedestrian shakes his rights? Right, give him a ride on the hood. It's unclear what was going through the driver's mind, although maybe these guys are just fooling around, but how can you not care about your friend? And this driver in the light sedan thought if he signaled, the road must be clear. Okay, it happens, but what's more surprising is that after the accident and lane change, he still tries to forcibly push the SUV out of his lane. Now that's persistence and determination. And this driver of the white sedan decided he's the king of the road and decides who can overtake him. And if the video author decided not to deal with the idiot, the pickup decided to go for the victory. First, he pushed the offender out with his body and then started repeating his maneuvers. Here's another idiot who first cut off the truck and then deliberately started blocking its path, not allowing it to overtake. The truck driver didn't hesitate and decided to act radically, because why should he? Are you happy to have gas? Especially when your neighbor decides in the morning to drive straight into the corridor with his car? Yeah, such people are better off drinking coffee to wake up. What to do if your neighbor parks in your spot and doesn't listen to any objections? Right, get in the forklift and throw his car away. It's funny and sad, but it's not worth fighting with neighbors. But sometimes it doesn't all depend on the drivers. There are fatal spots that attract trouble for various reasons. That's what happened with this turn. It's understandable that there's black ice, but you can learn from others' mistakes. That feeling when you decide to shoot a trendy video but something goes wrong. Hopefully, it wasn't the neighbor's car, otherwise it will be doubly frustrating. And this video is a real miracle. Notice that the biker is deliberately blurred at what speed he was going. As a result, he got the wobbles and ended up under a truck, miraculously slipping under it to the other side, getting away with just a scare. I thought this only happened in games. Why it's important not to play music loudly when you just get in the car? You might not hear the warning sound indicating the doors are not closed. Many drivers of large vehicles believe they're obligated to get into the most impassable places to justify their purchase, but sometimes they overestimate their strength. And now, there's no turning back, only forward. And this racer decided that all lanes were moving too slowly, so he'll slip through on the shoulder. Didn't slip through, the car skidded on the ground, and in the end, he narrowly avoided causing a major accident. What was he thinking? What to do if you mix up the pedals and back into a fence? Right, do it all over again, but in reverse. It's great to get out into nature with your boat, especially if it's a fast and modern speedboat, but there's a catch. The driver didn't notice that the propeller hangs too low. Now this boat is unlikely to sail far. And this man attracted attention by walking around and peeking into other people's cars. His face is hidden by a scarf, he's nervous himself. It's funny that when he tried to escape, he got so flustered that he caught on a fire hydrant with his car. But seeing the video author was calling the police, he decided it was time to leave at any cost. How to get a cyclist's attention in traffic? Hang a stop signal? No. You can just take off your pants. That's something you definitely won't forget. And this driver apparently went on vacation for the first time in a long time. I simply can't see any other explanation for why he doesn't brake before any obstacles. The wall crushed the trailer. Who cares? I'm going on vacation. And this is a textbook video of instant karma. The pickup let the police through, but then several jerks squeezed in behind it to bypass the traffic jam, but it didn't work out. Next time, they'll think twice about what not to do. Funny and sad. I hope you'll drive on different roads from such drivers. By the way, if you know how to edit, voice videos, or write scripts, then follow the link in the description to our Telegram bot, and let's work together. And thanks for watching.